This is a fundamental move that's going to keep you as strong as possible. It's a bracing move, which is essentially a blanket term for any movement that keeps the core and the hips in tension whilst preventing energy leaks. It's called the hollow body. Let me show you exactly how it's done. So I'm going to show you all of the regressions for the hollow body, but first I just want to talk about all of the key components of this movement. If you've seen my video on the stacked rib cage, what we're essentially doing is a stacked rib cage in a supine, so lying down position. This is going to be a great way to improve the strength, stability, and potential hypertrophy of the muscle that are involved in this stacked rib cage supine position, so the hollow body, and this is going to transfer to a lot of moves such as the front lever and some pulling movements. So let's get into it. So just to show you what a perfect hollow body should look like. When you're on your back, you want the shoulder blades to be up off the floor slightly. Make sure that your chin doesn't go too far forwards. We want the chin just tucked in a neutral position, but we're just focusing on bringing the shoulder blades up. You'll note that what this is essentially doing is creating a stacked rib cage in a lying down position. And so you're going to immediately feel tension on your abdominals. The next thing that we want to do is bring the tailbone up. As you do that, now you can hear my voice shaking, but as you do that, your lower back is pushing hard into the floor. So I've tilted my pelvis up, and then that is me basically in this position. This might be enough for you to start to experience some benefits. Now, the next thing that we want to do is, and I'm just going to go through the most advanced progressions, legs locked. Locking the legs is going to ensure that we're not having any energy leaks through the legs. And so keeping your lower back pushed into the floor, you want to lock out the legs and point the toes. That's really going to allow you to tense the quads as much as possible. Quick break, as that is already hurting. And then once you've done that, we then bring the arms behind the head. So here I am in my hollow body, everything's in tension, shoulder blades up, and then I'm just bringing my hands behind the head, and you can open them up slightly and push the hands down as much as possible. And this is a nice strong hollow body position. So I don't expect you to obviously go straight into that hollow body position because it's actually very demanding. As you can see, I was shaking and already out of breath from doing that. So it's important to go through the regressions. So let me go through those regressions now. Now, when it comes to these regressions, what we're doing is we're using the legs and the hands as levers. The closer these are to the pivot point, which will be essentially your abdominals and your hips, the easier it is. The further away your hands and your feet are, the longer the levers, and the longer the levers, the more taxing this is going to be on the muscles that we're trying to stimulate. So essentially all the muscles around the core here. Just keep your feet on the floor as I was doing in the first part, and bring your shoulder blades off the floor, keeping your chin tucked slightly, and just look towards the end of your knees. Once you're in this position, drive your arms down as much as possible and just hold that position. Once you can do that for 30 seconds, it's time to move on to your next progression. You're always going to start with each one of these with your shoulder blades off the floor, chin tucked slightly. Next thing that we want to do is bring the knees in, and the calves are going to be parallel to the floor. Reach down as much as you can. That's going to help you get a little bit more flexion through the back, and then hold this position. Jesus, even that's hurting me. Same drill, shoulder blades up, get back into that first regression, and then we're now starting to bring the quads into the equation, but we're going to point the legs further up whilst reaching down as much as we can. Hold that for a good 30 seconds. Shoulder blades up, as always, keep the chin tucked, lock out the legs, arms down, keep the lower back in the floor as the heels come down. Reach as far as you can. Hold 30 seconds. Finally, we have the full hollow body. When I go into the full hollow body, I'd actually like to work through the movement as much as possible and work through some of the regressions before I get there, just so that I'm mentally checking through all the things that I need to be going through. So I always start shoulder blades up, then I'll reach down. Rather than locking the legs up and then moving them down, I'll just put them out in front, and then hands up, turn the palms out, and hold. I'm really focusing on pushing the lower back into the floor. You now know all the principles that you need to adhere to in order to hold that position perfectly, and of course train that to get better and better. Let me know where you're currently at in the comments, otherwise I'll see you in the next video.